President Trump, former President Trump, yesterday said, "Oh, get your beautiful salt back." Were you like, did you know that was coming? That would, 2017. That some people think that maybe some of the tailwinds we're still seeing in American business might be because of the corporate tax cut. I happen to be one of them. I don't know what other pro-growth policies we put into effect. We haven't really put any in, but that would certainly exacerbate if you extend the 2017 cuts and you put the take away the cap on salt. That's really going to add to the deficit. Have you thought about that?
Sure, I've thought about it, but I do think it's a combination of steps that we would look to take. We want to use the tax code to really build investment and opportunity. And we know how to do that. We demonstrated it to your point, during the first couple years of the Trump administration when we brought about the greatest economy in the history of the world, not just the U.S. We did that, Joe, because we implemented the principles and the policies that we've always espoused, and that is less regulation and lower taxes. It's a pretty simple formula, and it has a great result. So we want to expand upon the Trump era tax cuts. And we want to do massive regulatory reform. One of the problems we have right now across the free market, right, is that the federal government these agencies have been weaponized against the industries that they're supposed to be assisting and regulating in a meaningful way. Under the Biden-Harris administration, they have almost smothered the free market. I mean, it's like the boot of government is on the neck of job creators and entrepreneurs and risk takers who are just trying to do their jobs. And they've made it almost impossible. So we're going to reverse that. If you get Republican leadership in the White House, the Senate, and the House, unified government, we will put this thing on turbo. You will see massive regulatory reform. We have a great opportunity. The Supreme Court has overturned the Chevron doctrine. We have all the talk about political tailwinds in a moment of opportunity. That's what we'll see in the first quarter of next year. And you're going to see a lot of change that I think will really incentivize more opportunity, more investment, more American manufacturing, detangle from China, get the border under control and stop the illegal immigration, and stop the maddening government spending that's been out of control for the last 4 years.
Okay, on that note, Speaker Johnson, government spending that's been out of control. The front page of the Wall Street Journal today lays out how plans from both candidates, Vice President Harris and former President Trump, really blow out spending in any way, shape, or form. The things that they have said on the campaign trail, the things that they are adding to. Let me just read you a list of your candidates' proposals over the last several months. You tell me if you agree with him on all of these proposals or if there's some daylight between the two of you. He would eliminate taxes on overtime pay, money that's coming in from tips, Social Security benefits, no more taxes on that. He would eliminate the SALT proposals, the caps that Joe just mentioned, eliminate or cut taxes on manufacturing in the United States for any business who's manufacturing their goods here, pay for new parents' expenses. Do you agree with all of those plans? Because they're going to cost something like $6 trillion in addition to the 217.
Yeah, I agree with all those ideas, and I think most people listening and watching this morning nod their head and say that sounds like a good idea. Now, do we need to figure out how to pay for it? Of course, and that's where responsible governance comes in. But I do think that we can implement a lot of these ideas on this menu of items to really bring relief to the American people. I mean, what President Trump is talking about on the campaign trail is that he wants to do right by middle-class, hardworking Americans. He wants to do right by seniors. I mean, these are the demographics that need that level of assistance. And how do we assist them? It's not by government
giveaways. But how do you
giveaways.
pay for it? You said it yourself.
Well,
how do you pay for it?
Right. Well, you have to bring about a pro-growth economy. And you do that with a combination of aggressive use of the tax code and reduction in government regulation. That's how we get the economy going. You know, Joe said a moment ago he thinks the residual effects of the corporate tax cuts, for example, from the Trump administration, are one of the reasons that we're still afloat in the economy. But I think really the regulatory reform, in addition to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in the first Trump administration, our efforts at regulatory reform are really what got the economy humming. Also, energy policy. I mean, that's a huge distinction between Harris's plan, or if she even has a plan, she won't talk about it. I don't think she understands the talking points she's saying anyway. But Donald Trump wants to return to American energy dominance. I talk to our allies around the world, our European allies, for example. They are desperate for LNG exports from America. we turn that sector back on, you're in a totally different stratosphere with regard to economic growth. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris turned it off, literally. They paused LNG exports. They've declared war on fossil fuels in our oil and gas industry. We got to bring sanity back to this, and Donald Trump will. And I think when he institutes these policies, we're going to be in a completely different situation than we are right now, and we'll have the opportunity to do a lot of these things and be very aggressive to help the people.